Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy Coach E Kong, and this is my weekly blog, New Vision for Your Nutrition, my unfiltered perspective, tips, and advice on health. Today's topic is the pros and cons of working out with Bae. All right, so let's talk about it. So this blog is just to help you in your decision making when it comes to, you know, working out with Bae. The good, the bad, the ugly. Um, Hopefully more good than bad, right? But let's start with the pros. So my number one pro when you're working out with someone, considerably someone that you're, trying to get to know better, the very first pro is accountability. So there was a survey done at the Department of Kinesiology at Indiana University. In that study, they took married couples and they allowed them to join a gym and work out separately. So ultimately, they would join a gym. They're married, they join a gym, but they work out at separate times. Maybe one will work out in the morning and one will work out at night, but they would never work out together. Over the course of 1 year, the study found that those couples had a 43% dropout rate. Now, in the same study with married couples, they tailored the variables to allow those married couples to actually work out at the same time. Now, not necessarily doing the same workouts or in the same area, but just working out at the same time in the same gym location. And they actually found that there was a difference of a 6% dropout rate over a course of a year, 6.3 to be exact. So, in the same amount of time, the dropout rate over a year was much lower for couples that actually were able to go to the gym at the same time, further solidifying the fact that you guys will actually be able to continue your membership much longer than those who actually work out at separate times. Number two is mutual dietary needs. Now, likely in my experience, what I've found is that most couples who have one person working out and the other person not, normally that's a good respect between both parties. The only problem comes into play when they go home and they're looking to eat. Now, if we're honest, a lot of us are unable to find ways to be strong enough when one party is eating maybe the bad foods that we're trying to stay away from, and you're having to eat more clean, healthy, homegrown foods or plant-based foods. So your diet being the same or very similar is going to be supportive to one another because you guys are both going to be eating clean. You guys are both going to be eating plant-enriched foods, and no one's really going to be, tempting the other person to make it any harder. And actually, if one person is actually having a hard time, the other person can be there to kind of help them and say, you know what, you're not in this alone. And number three is that quality time with you. Quality time. So quality time is important because when one person is, in the mindset of working out and being fit and healthy, and the other person is not, your schedules normally sometimes don't allow you guys to spend that time that you need. But when you're with someone, when you're working out with Bae, when you're actually, intertwining your schedules, there's a great chance that you guys are really going to be spending a lot of time together. And, when you're enjoying that person, you always want to see more of them. So it's only a plus to have that person around you at all times and with you. So it actually works out perfectly to engage and increase that quality time. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things that may not be as valuable when you're working out with Bae. Let's talk about the cons. All right, so one of the first things that even I find, even when I'm training couples, is, if you're with someone and they're just not at your fitness level or vice versa, you're not where they're at, it can cause a little bit of friction and it could kind of make it a little challenging. One tip I do have, a real good tip for that, is find a class. What a class will help do for both you guys is not only give you the independence of working out, separately, but it also gives you an environment where it's controlled in terms of the time. If someone's in a higher fitness level than the other person, they can work as hard as they need to. The other person, if they need to slow down or rest, they can do that. And you know, that's a great way to be together but separate and not really have a lot of problems. So just a suggestion if you're in that situation. The second thing is your build or your health goals. So one of the problems that you run into sometimes when you're working out with Bay is that you will sometimes have different goals. What do I mean by that? For most guys, at least the ones that, you know, I know, there's like a winter, summer, you know, kind of, I say pancake or difference that we kind of rotate throughout the seasons. Now, for most women, I mean, for the most part, there's not a lot of that change. A lot of times it's just kind of continuing to kind of stay on that same road of, you know, being slim, maybe toning, but not necessarily trying to get bigger. And so where that, you know, normally causes a problem is that once you get home, sometimes it becomes a little challenging because for most guys, when we're trying to get in calories, that's not always going to be about eating the most healthy options. Sometimes you can get calories, you know, and be just fine, you know, with a pizza, you know, baked potato, you know, with the you know, loaded baked potato, you know, and just a lot of the bad foods we can have in the process to our goals. If you guys are, you know, together a lot, you're going to be viewed as always eating some of the things that maybe the other person can't have, or vice versa. Or, you know, it could be the other way. It could be that, you know, depending on the woman you're with, maybe she's in competitions and she has to maybe bulk up and eat more, and you maybe are looking to slim down, and so you're going to run into issues when it comes down to the actual goals and the eating, because for most people the temptation comes in being able to stay away from the foods. And if someone else, if you're the person that you're with, is always eating the foods that you want, definitely cause some friction. Lastly is weight loss. Now, weight loss is very tricky, right? Somebody can just be able to lose more, and scientifically what happens is the more weight you have, the faster it is to lose in the beginning than someone who maybe doesn't have as much weight. So what you have is you have scenarios where one person who's maybe a little bit heavier than their partner will go to the gym at the same time, they'll be doing the same routines, but one person is losing a lot of weight, the other person plateaued at a particular weight, and it can become, naturally become very frustrating, and it could cause, again, a little bit of animosity and a little bit of jealousy. Those, for me, are the pros and cons for working out with Bay. If you like this, please feel free to, reach me on all my social sites at Coach Ekong, at The Life Changer. But this is your boy, Coach Ekong. I hope this was interesting. Hope it was, provided some information for you. But I thank you guys so much for your time. Y'all be good. One.